Thank you so much for listening on a Thursday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Super duper. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great, doing great. Hey, interesting here. Stephen Hawking. We know who that is, right?
Yeah.
He's a guy in the wheelchair, talks through the computer. A very, very bright man. I actually tried to read his book. We've talked about that on the air here before. I bought his book because I was like, oh, hey, this is kind of interesting. I'm going to get some insight into one of the most brilliant minds that ever lived. And I read the introduction, which confused me. And then I started reading the book, and I got a headache, and I set it down and never went back to it.
Can't imagine why.
Yeah, that's probably not my type of reading. Anyway, Stephen Hawking, scientist in a wheelchair. He is a guest vocalist on Pink Floyd's new album. Okay.
Did we talk about that?
No, we talked about this. He released his own
that's
single.
Right. He had a different song. That's what it was.
Cover version of a song from Monty Python.
That's right.
So now, in addition to that, which we shared that on our Facebook page.
Goodness.
You can go check it out. In addition to that, now he's a guest vocalist on the Pink Floyd album. That's interesting.
Whatever. That's not my idea of... First of all, I'm not a huge Pink Floyd fan anyway.
I love Pink Floyd.
I'm sorry. I'm just not. So you may improve it a little.
Record sales are up. Actually, they have one of the best-selling albums in the history of the world, Pink Floyd. It was on the charts for like 14 years. So, even if it's not your cup of tea, it's a lot of folks' cups of tea. Is that the way you say that? I don't know. I'll just stop.
Yeah, I think that's
You're listening to
best.
the John and Heidi Show. Thanks for tuning in on a Thursday.
This segment of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy an RV, check it out. And if you want to sell an RV, check it out. Helping connect buyers and sellers at RVWheelator.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday. You want to talk toys?
Sure.
What's your favorite toy of all time?
The Barbie.
Barbie. Now, who makes that?
Mattel.
Very good. Man, this is not planned. Did we talk about this in advance?
No.
All right.
Everybody
Non-scripted.
knows who.
I just assumed that, most people would say, if you ask a girl, what's your favorite toy? And I shouldn't say that. That sounds very sexist. There's some guys that like Barbies too. But most people, if you would ask, what is your favorite toy? There's probably a pretty short list of what they're going to say. There can be some that have bizarre things. Our son, by the way, would have something nobody would think of.
Off the wall.
What is your favorite toy? It'd be like stink blasters. Yeah, stretch screamers.
Yeah.
Things that most people go, what the heck is that? But Mattel has canceled their SeaWorld trainer Barbie out of respect for whales.
What?
Yeah. Come on, Mattel.
Are you kidding me?
First of all, I have to admit, in all fairness, I had no clue that Mattel had a SeaWorld trainer Barbie.
I'm sure they just came out with it.
But I'm saying, did you know they had one?
I did not know.
So apparently they had a SeaWorld trainer Barbie. What does a SeaWorld trainer Barbie come with? Are there extra accessories that come with that one? Like a little harpoon, or what would they have what's in the package?
An oil lamp.
I'm not exactly sure what comes with the SeaWorld trainer Barbie. But out of respect for whales, they said...
It probably came with a little tiny fish that she could feed to it.
That could be. I have no idea. A stun gun? I don't know. What do they use to train whales? I have no clue. I don't know how any of that stuff works. So SeaWorld trainer Barbie canceled by Mattel. Oh. And again, and I quote, out of respect for the whales.
That drives me nuts.
Really?
They probably had some loony group calling them up and saying, oh, you're for the abuse of whales.
Yeah, sea trainer Barbie. You know what those sea trainers do? SeaWorld trainers do. They torture those whales.
Freaking loonies.
I'm just saying, this is sad. First of all, again...
It drives me crazy that people are so willing to bow down to the minority and say, okay.
But here's the thing.
That drives me nuts.
Was there a market for this?
I'm sure that somebody would...
I don't think so.
You know what, though? When you own Barbies, you want to own all the Barbies. It's just like with every toy. When you're a kid, you want to own all of them.
If they have a SeaWorld trainer Barbie...
your Barbie family is going to SeaWorld, you need somebody there,
Do you have a Disneyland
whales.
guided tour Barbie?
There should be.
Do they have a McDonald's I work in the fry line Barbie?
Yes, actually.
Do they really?
They do have a McDonald's.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding
I was thinking of the dumbest thing I could think of, and they really do.
They do, and they have a pilot Barbie.
Do they have a Walmart greeter Barbie?
Possibly. There's a grandma Barbie, so she could...
Really?
She could have a side job.
I need to spend some time on Google today Well, there you go. Next thing you know, there's going to be a Bruce Jenner gender change Barbie. This used to be Ken, now it's Barbie.
They probably will.
Used to be Barbie, now it's Ken. I don't know how any of this stuff works. All I do know is we appreciate you joining us for this ridiculous thing we call the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by WinThisOnline.com. If you have stuff you'd like to give away, do it for free. Check out the website WinThisOnline.com. It's also free to win stuff. Register today for your free account at WinThisOnline.com.
Ready to head to New Jersey?
Absolutely.
A man was stabbed following a dispute over what, Heidi?
French fries.
No. We talked about French fries getting stabbed. Talked about a dude getting stabbed over salsa. He ate all the salsa this week. This one's over a haircut.
Oh.
$5 haircut. Police and paramedics were called to a barbershop where a victim had multiple stab wounds in the buttocks is one area. The man was taken to the hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. A police spokesperson said, apparently this was all over a $5 haircut. He was unhappy with the haircut. He refused to pay the $5 and walked away. Then he was stabbed by the hairstylist.
You know what? If you don't want a bad haircut, don't go get a $5 haircut.
Police are still investigating the case to determine if charges should be filed or any arrests should be made. No word on the average price of a good haircut in New Jersey, but a bad haircut apparently is $5. One of my favorite stories, I know I've shared this before, but I got to share it because there's somebody listening today that wasn't listening whenever I mentioned it last time. I was reading a story about a place that opened up across the street from a reputable salon, barbershop that had been around for like 30 years, and somebody came to town and they said, hey, we're going to open a barbershop. We're going to open a salon right across the street from this guy who's been around forever. And they hung up a giant banner that said $5 haircuts. They were trying to steal his business. So the next day, he hung up a banner that says, we fix $5 haircuts.
That's brilliant.
I thought that was genius.
That is brilliant marketing.
And he was fixing. People were coming over going, hey, Mike, sorry, I tried their haircut and look what they did to me. Can you fix me? So he hung up a banner, we fix $5 haircuts.
That's brilliant.
I thought that was too. So maybe he could fix this haircut, but he's not going to be able to fix all the stab wounds. Back in the day, originally when barbers started barbering, if that's the right word. Yeah, when they used to do a lot of medical procedures too. Did you know that? They did bloodletting and surgeries and things like that. They did too. It's absolutely
bloodletting.
Yes, where they would actually. I just read this. That's how George Washington died. George Washington.
From a barber doing a bloodletting?
No, he was sick, and they went, this is how far we've come in medicine. He was sick, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor said, well, let's do a little bloodletting and see what happens. And they bled out like 5 pints of blood before he finally died.
Whatever.
Seriously.
Why would we have not learned that if that's the truth?
Because I'm pretty sure they're not proud of that. Our first president, he went in with it, got a sore throat. Well, here, let's cut you open and see what happens. So, no, barbers back in the day did bloodletting, and the reason that their barber pole is red and white is because they had a white pole out front that they would take the bloody bandages out and wind them around it. They would hang them. The wind would blow them around it. So that was the sign of a barber. Absolutely true story.
That is not true. I don't believe you anymore because of the stuff that you say, and then you're like, oh, that's true.
Because I am I do happen
Roosevelt invented the fist bump. That's totally true.
That was not true.
That happened.
No, that was not true. I had my son convinced. See, I like to practice what some refer to as tomfoolery. And
only my great-grandfather refers to anything as tomfoolery.
So I had my son convinced that that Teddy Roosevelt invented the fist bump. I don't know who really did, but we had a car ride that I was bored, and I thought, hey, I'm gonna do some tomfoolery right now. But this is for real. George Washington really did die, and it was after bloodletting, and barbers used to do that. And now the reason we got on this story, in New Jersey, a dude was stabbed after he was upset about his $5 haircut. So maybe this barber was just saying, hey, let's get back to the good old days. I'm going to do some bloodletting on your butt right now. So stabbed him.
I'm sure that barber is going to go to
probably. Well, it says police are investigating to see if any charges will be filed.
Well, unless the guy is nice enough and says, no, I'm not going to press any charges, but I sure as hell would.
I expect a free haircut out of this at least. I mean, look at this haircut. how bad does the haircut have to be before you start stabbing somebody over the deal? I mean,
he didn't get stabbed.
No,
he didn't get stabbed.
He was storming out.
By the he got stabbed for not paying.
Here's a note.
But that barber must have really needed the $5.
I think we've all learned a very important lesson on this Thursday morning. Don't get your haircut in New Jersey.
It's a little rough.
All right. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program brought to you by DirecTV. Sign up today at 1-800-259-7646. That's 1-800-259-7646.
Bruce Jenner is going to appear in a reality TV show about his gender change. Shocking. Yeah. Shocking.
I did not see that coming.
No. So I'm not exactly sure. Now, here's the thing. Networks are offering to say, they say, hey, we're going to do this, but let's wait until you have the gender change to negotiate your pay, because then we'll pay you 75% of what you'd make as a man. So,
oh, good Lord.
I'm just
Whatever.
kidding. I'm just teasing. I'm sure he's making plenty on this. He's making bank, I'm sure. I'm a little confused. I don't watch Dancing with the Stars, but speaking of reality shows, I don't watch that show. But I
like it. I don't ever really watch it like on a regular basis, but I do like that show.
Well, here's the thing I don't understand. I was reading a story about Monday night's show. The dancers with the highest scores were eliminated from the show. So the highest scores usually are the ones that move on, they win. But on Monday night, there was some new election system put in or something. I have no idea. And the people with the highest scores were eliminated. I think it sounds like a terrible voting system. They have big fans of the show, Dancing with the Stars, are really upset. They're like, whoa, you kicked them off the show, but they were the ones that got the most votes.
Huh.
I mean, this company, if they keep this up, they might actually get the U.S. government's business for running presidential elections.
Unless it was like a thing where they felt like the voting was rigged.
I don't know.
Because is it a call-in and vote kind of a show? I bet it is.
Look at me. What about the appearance of me says that I would ever watch that show?
It's a good show.
I'm just not into that kind of thing.
Huh. I don't watch. I don't say, oh, we can't go anywhere because Dancing with Stars is on. I think I've seen it once. And every once in a while on my Facebook news feed, if one of them shows up, you got to see this one, it was really good, then I'll watch it.
You made me watch one the other day.
Like when Sadie Robinson.
Who?
Sadie, is their last name Robertson?
Who is?
From Duck Dynasty.
Okay.
She's one of their daughters.
Yeah, you wouldn't let me watch that show, remember?
When she was on it, I watched all of her routines because they were really good.
Wait a minute. You wouldn't let me watch Duck Dynasty, but you watched a dancing show.
Because Sadie is a sweetheart. I like her a lot.
What a double standard. All right.
Hey, if they dance on Duck Dynasty, we'll watch it.
There you go. I guess that sounds Dancing Dynasty. All right. We've got your scoop of the day on the way. Thanks for listening on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by We Need Sponsors.
Hey, wait a minute. All right. I'll let you finish.
If my husband would go out and sell some advertising, I would have something to read here. Again, this portion of the program is brought to you by We Need Some Freaking Sponsors.
Time right now for the scoop of the day, and we appreciate you joining us on Thursday morning here. It's a great scoop of the day today because I got not a lot of stories, but we're going to talk about each story a little bit. In Boston, because I left room for comment.
All right.
In Boston, a Doberman is recovering from emergency surgery after eating 3 of its owner's wristwatches.
Oh.
So here's my question. First of all, was the owner wearing them at the time? Because that's a whole different story. If these are just laying around the house and the dog's walking around snarfing up watches, that's one thing.
I'm sure that was the
Or
situation.
was the owner wearing 3 watches and was petting the Doberman? No, he bit him off his arm. I don't know. I have no idea. But wouldn't this story be more fascinating if they were Apple Watches? Because the new Apple Watch, because the thing that would be fascinating then is, wow, this guy owns 3 Apple Watches.
An apple a day.
An Apple Watch a day. All right, moving on to this next story that we'll have a little comment on. Brad Pitt has a bruised face.
Oh.
He fell over while running in flip-flops.
Oh.
Okay.
I would have liked to have seen that.
There's probably video somewhere. Isn't this guy's life always on film?
Oh, yes.
So Brad Pitt bruised his face.
That would suck for when stupid stuff like that happens, that somebody's always got you on film.
Can you imagine? Have you ever run in flip-flops?
No, I don't run. Nothing is that urgent where I need to
hurry up quick.
the pace.
Yeah, that's fine. But the building's on fire. Yeah, I heard the alarm. It's good. You guys go on without me. I will get out when I get out. It's A-okay. I don't want to spill my wine. And I'm wearing flip-flops. So again, Brad Pitt bruised his face while running in flip-flops. I'll tell you, things are almost as hard. I have tried to run in flip-flops. And it's not... I was in a hurry. I can tell you why. Because I was in a hurry. Period. That's why. And I happen to be wearing flip-flops. So... if you've ever tried to run in flip-flops, it is not easy. But you know what's almost as hard to run in?
What is that?
Snow boots. Have you ever run in snow boots?
Asked and answered.
You don't run. Yes.
I don't run.
And the interesting thing is, I live in South Dakota where there are times you wear snow boots and flip-flops in the same week. So sometimes in the same day.
Sometimes in the same day. That's exactly what I was just going to say.
All right. Hey, I got a question. Do you know, has the royal baby been born yet?
I have no idea, but I did
It's all over the news.
I did hear that the prince was going to have to miss the birth.
What? Why?
Yeah, he's in the military, and he's not going to make it back.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Well,
that is
I know that's in the news. I've not been on social media this morning to find out if that happened, but I'm looking forward to it being done so people will shut up about it. So, just like the whole Bruce Jenner thing. Get it over.
Do you hear a lot about it? Because I don't.
I do. When I click on my Facebook. Your Facebook is different than my Facebook.
My
Facebook
is much different.
Yeah, my Facebook is filled with interesting things. Yours is filled with really weird stuff.
My Facebook is awesome.
Yeah, well, it's one way to look at it. All right. Hey, in Martin County, California, a busy highway was closed after a tanker truck flipped over and spilled 10,000 gallons of milk all over the highway.
Ew, I bet that stinks.
Authorities issued a statement that said, hey, it's nothing to cry over. So,
I bet it reeks, though.
You know, the amazing thing was, right after this, there was another truck that tipped over, amazingly filled with Oreo cookies.
Ooh.
Everybody's got to sit on the side of the road and eat their Oreo cookies.
I do love me some Oreos.
That really didn't happen. The milk really did happen. The Oreos didn't. But wouldn't that have been an awesome story? If I were driving an Oreo truck, even if I wasn't in the vicinity of that milk,
I would head over.
I would say, GPS, get me to that milk. I need to derail my truck. I'd derail a truck.
I don't believe
I'd at least go and unload a couple boxes. Hey, guys, help us out. Let's clean up this milk. Here's some Oreos. I think that would have been perfect. And finally, experts are predicting this summer will be the hottest on record of all time. That's interesting because it's supposed to get hot.
So far, it hasn't proven to be so in the springtime. So it'll be interesting to see when that turn is supposed to happen.
There was just snow a week ago, like a little over a week ago, in Colorado. Because when we were in Vegas, we were talking to a lady that she flew out from Colorado, and she said, yeah, my husband's back home in the snow. I'm like, what? In the snow? Where do you guys live? Nome, Alaska? She's like, no, Denver. Okay. All right, this has been your Scoop of the Day. We appreciate you tuning in on a Thursday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by We Need Sponsors.
Hey, wait a minute. All right, I'll let you finish.
If my husband would go out and sell some advertising, I would have something to read here. Again, this portion of the program is brought to you by We Need Some Freaking Sponsors.
A professor at A&M failed his entire class after losing his patience with their bad behavior and dishonesty.
Good for him.
Wow. Professor Erwin Horowitz. That sounds like a guy that would fail his whole class.
He doesn't mess around. Don't mess with Erwin.
Yeah, he's no horseplay Horowitz here. He sent an email to students of his strategic I think I had it right the first time. Strategic management class, accusing them of cheating, disrespect, lying, and rudeness. The professor says he has been seen widespread cheating and has been told to chill out. He's been called a moron by students.
Whoa.
He's broken up fights in class. He said, all of my students, quote, lack the honor and maturity to live up to the standards that Texas A&M holds. And the competence and the desire to do quality work necessary to pass my course. Well, that's what Horowitz says. The university has intervened. A spokesperson said they respect Professor Horowitz, but none of the students will fail unless they show they cannot meet the required academic standards.
Well, which is right.
They're saying, I understand.
Can't fail someone because they're jerks.
Old crabby Horowitz up the hall here doesn't like you guys. I don't think it's nice that they were disrespectful to him and they were calling him a moron.
But if they're cheating,
Yeah.
then they have failed to meet the academic requirements
Exactly.
to pass the course.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens there at Texas A&M. But Mr. Horowitz, he is now known as No Horsing Around Horowitz there. If you get in his class, buckle up. You better be nice because you're disrespectful. He'll boot you out of there in a second. I think, sometimes it would be nice if you could just fail the entire class. But I don't think that that's the right way to go. So there you go. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Thanks for tuning in on a Thursday.
This portion of the program brought to you by BillionAuto.com. If you're looking to buy a car, they have a bunch of them. Maybe 1 billion. No guarantees on that. But I will guarantee you'll find a lot of cars at BillionAuto.com.
Today is a very special day, Heidi. You know what today is?
What is today, John?
Today is Thursday. It is the final day of April. It's Thursday the 30th, National Honesty Day. Shouldn't every day be National Honesty Day?
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah. I don't know how we missed this, but somehow we missed Tuesday was Superhero Day. We didn't talk about that, did we?
I don't think we did, no.
Yeah. So Superhero Day was Tuesday, and millions around the world are watching the trailer for Batman vs. Superman. Movie is scheduled for release next year, so it's interesting that is the trailers are getting out earlier and earlier. Mm-hmm. Why would they release it now if it's a whole year from now?
I don't know, but Superman's going to win. I don't even need to see it.
There you go. It's almost like presidential campaigns.
And if Superman does not win, it's completely false.
Okay, that I think we had the same conversation with Freddy versus Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was ridiculous. There's no way Jason could have beat Freddy. And he comes out carrying Freddy's head. It's like, no way. I'm sorry, but that is not the way this would go down.
And then they still made sequels after that, which is like you were both dead 15 movies ago. So yeah, I'm not sure how. It's like Fast and Furious. They just keep making them. Hey, you're gonna pay us? Make another one? What the heck? Friday the 13th, 104. That sounds good. All right, coming up in a bit, we got some dumb people to talk about, and this one's dumb. It's all on the way on the Thursday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club.
I use their razors, and I absolutely love them. And if you would like to try some razors and get a little special discount and get me a little extra credit, check out dollarshaveclub.com/BigJohnSmall. I love their razors. I use them all the time.
I've tried to use them. He won't let me touch them.
Yeah, leave my razors alone. Get your own razors. They're dirt cheap. Go check them out. dollarshaveclub.com/BigJohnSmall. And you're going to absolutely love them.
Again, this portion of the program brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
You ever do something dumb and you just go, wow, I hope nobody saw that?
Oh, yes.
I've done those things too.
Many
But
times.
Nothing quite this dumb. A man in Kansas got a wire coat hanger stuck in his throat.
What was he doing?
Just that sentence is enough right there to say,
was he trying to
let me
do?
tell you. He got a wire coat hanger stuck in his throat. What was he doing, you might ask? Well, it's a good question, but it's just as insane. He got the coat hanger stuck in his throat when he was trying to remove a balloon that he swallowed. Yes, he swallowed a balloon. I'll let you think about that for a second. And he's like, how am I going to get this balloon out of here? I know. I'm going to get a coat hanger. It gets better, Heidi. Guess what was in the balloon?
Cocaine?
Exactly. How did you possibly figure that one out?
Well, because I've heard of people hiding cocaine in balloons and then swallowing it.
So you might wonder, why would he be doing that? Well, here he says this time it was an accident.
This time.
Somebody put that balloon in his drink at a party, and he accidentally swallowed it. Wink, wink.
Sure
like he didn't notice a giant rubber balloon floating in his drink with white powder in it. Even if you didn't notice it in a drink, you'd think that your brain would kick in while you're drinking it, going, this is quite the ice cube. Wouldn't that for most people who think? Anyway, the man needed emergency surgery to remove two things, a balloon from his gullet and a hanger from his throat. He couldn't get the hanger out either. He got that caught in it.
What an idiot.
Police say he could face possession charges of cocaine, and perhaps police don't necessarily buy his story that it was slipped in his drink like a
And I'm guessing
he
didn't have insurance, so that's on taxpayers as well. So that's awesome.
This guy votes, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, he votes. I guarantee you.
All right. Thanks for listening on a Thursday. You're tuned in to the John and Heidi Show.
This segment of the program is brought to you by RVWheelator.com. If you want to buy an RV, check it out. And if you want to sell an RV, check it out. helping connect buyers and sellers at rvwheelator.com.
The revival of the Osborne family reality show has been canceled.
I can't say I'm too terribly disappointed. I didn't watch it when it was on the first time.
Yeah, they were planning on this big, huge reboot. They thought, hey, we're going to do this show, and people are going to love us, and it's going to be amazing. And people were underwhelmed with the announcement. So much so the network said, I think the audience just kind of lost the appeal for the show.
I think we've had enough.
Yeah, we're done with it. We're not going to do that now. Mm-hmm. I got an idea for a reality show.
What about us?
The John and Heidi Show. You guys, if you ever heard what happens when the microphones are off. First of all, if that were on television, we'd probably both be in jail because some of the stuff.
We'd have to be on HBO for sure because it's not cable.
We would certainly need bodyguards. Some of the things that you say.
Yeah, I mean, if you think I'm bad on the radio, I'm censored on the radio.
Because if you've ever heard one of those moments where I say something and she's got this silly look on her face, I'm like, what? She's like, no, nothing. I'm like,
tell you
tell
later.
me. What is it? No, nothing. And then she does tell me later. I'm like, thank you, Lord, for not letting her say that on the radio. See,
I do have the filter when I need to have the filter.
I'm glad because there are times I'm sure we'd be sued by now. So, all right. Thanks for listening. It's a Thursday and you're tuned in to the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by WinThisOnline.com. If you have stuff you'd like to give away, do it for free. Check out the website WinThisOnline.com. It's also free to win stuff. Register today for your free account at WinThisOnline.com.
A survey shows a high percentage of college students suffer from depression. College students say that they would feel more cheerful if they didn't have all that depressing stuff like classes and homework. They're all depressed going to college.
Don't go to college if you don't want homework.
Well, why are they depressed? I don't understand. I thought, I never went to college, so you'll have to tell me, because you have a lot of college experience. What was it, one semester?
It was 2 semesters.
Oh, it was 2. I am so sorry.
Thank you.
I almost gave you credit for half of your college. How many credits did you get?
None.
Okay.
Because I didn't really go to class. I was at college, but I wasn't really at college.
Well, here's the thing that I always wonder, because I never went. I'm sure you can probably tell by my grasp of the English language that I'm a well-educated man. But I ain't never gone to no college. But when I talk to people who have, they always talk about it was so much fun.
It was the greatest time of my life.
Greatest 8 years of my life.
I had so much fun at college.
The greatest 8 years? Did you go to school to be a doctor? No, general studies. So if they're having such a great time, why is it so depressing?
I don't know who they're talking to.
I don't know.
Clearly weren't talking to my friends.
A survey says a high percentage of college students suffer from depression. So cheer those college students up. Next time you see them, say, hey, have fun. This is the best days of your life. Whatever you have to do. Cheer them up somehow. I think we should move on because I'm done with this. We got a story about a couple of old folks we're going to chat about. This is such a great story. I'm so excited. It's on the way. Thank you for listening to a Thursday edition of the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program brought to you by DirecTV. Sign up today at 1-800-259-7646. That's 1-800-259-7646.
When we go to a restaurant, if we see like an old couple sitting in there holding hands, my wife will always tap me on the shoulder. You'll say, that's us in a few years.
No.
Isn't that adorable? Look at those.
I don't say that's us.
Yeah, you do.
That's you. That's your talk.
But what do you do?
I say, "Aw, aren't they sweet?"
And then I guess it's me that says, "That's us in a few years."
Yeah, it's always you that says that.
Okay,
that's those words.
But then I usually say, if she starts swearing at him for ordering milk, are you ridiculous?
I'll buy you a whole gallon when we leave.
Do we look like
get
the
pop,
Rockefellers?
It's free refills.
Yeah, get pop. I ordered milk, and she treated me like I just ordered
at a bar. It wasn't like we were at a restaurant and you wanted milk with your breakfast. We were at a bar and you ordered milk. First of all, it was probably expired because how often do they replenish their milk?
My tummy was hurting. And I did just say tummy. I'm still a man. I can say tummy and be a man. Well, a British couple will be the world's oldest newlyweds when they get married in June, as long as they make it that long. He's 101.
Oh.
She's 95. They plan on living in her parents' basement until they find a place of their own. No, they don't really. She's 95. He's 101. He said, I'm going to marry her and make an honest woman out of her.
That's awesome. Good for them.
I have no idea what their plan is. I don't know if they're planning on having kids. Have no clue. He's 101. She's 95.
They're
getting married in June. I wonder if they both have kids already.
Probably. It's probably a second marriage for...
It could be. Could be the 19th marriage. We
Could
have
be.
no idea. This is happening in Britain. They do
nice.
wait a little longer to get married over there, don't they? So-
I think that's very sweet. Good for them. I'm glad they found each other.
There you go. That's awesome. 101 and 95, they're getting married in June. Now, we got married in February, and we just celebrated our 15th anniversary.
We did.
I think it would be really, really cool to see a couple like this, 101 and 95, get married. I just think that'd be really fun to go to a wedding like that.
Yeah, we're not going to go to that.
I think it'd be... I'm not saying we should go to their wedding. We weren't even invited. I'm not inviting myself. What I'm saying is I think a wedding for a couple like this would be a whole lot different. Think about the wedding gifts that you get them. They already have a toaster. They already have a coffee maker, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff would you buy a couple that's getting married at 101 and 95?
Pill cases.
Got you a funeral plot, Grandma.
That's not
Not exactly sure what you get them. Anyway, I'm going to move on. Thanks for tuning in. It is a Thursday, and we appreciate you joining us on the John and Heidi Show.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Dollar Shave Club.
I use their razors, and I absolutely love them. And if you would like to try some razors and get a little special discount and get me a little extra credit, check out dollarshaveclub.com/BigJohnSmall. I love their razors. I use them all the time.
I've tried to use them. He won't let me touch them.
Yeah, leave my razors alone. Get your own razors. They're dirt cheap. Go check them out. dollarshaveclub.com/BigJohnSmall, and you're going to absolutely love them.
Again, this portion of the program brought to you by the Dollar Shave Club.
We got the Olympics coming up in a year or 2 years or 5 years or something like that. I don't know.
Okay.
Whenever they're coming up. But France has already been disqualified from the equestrian events. Oh, it's next year's Olympics in Brazil. So it's next year. In Brazil, we're going to have some Olympics. France is not going to be there with their equestrian events. You know why?
Why?
Drug scandal.
Oh.
I don't know
Drugging
if
the horses?
I don't know if they were drugging the horses or the jockeys or both.
Huh.
All I know is they were planning on going from France to Brazil without an airplane. That's how much they've been doping.
I mean, I would assume they want to take their own horses when they go to that because they've been working with the horses.
Do you
So how the
think?
hell did they get all those horses?
Probably on a boat or an airplane. I don't know.
You would think that would mess them up.
What?
The horses traveling all that way and then having to perform.
I'm sure they don't get them there like the day before. All right. Hope you guys got a lot of
Jet lag.
sleep on the boat. I'm thinking they do a boat. I don't know. I'm not sure how they get them here. What are you looking at?
There's a spider on the ceiling. You need to kill that.
I'm not going to kill it. That was the funniest thing because you went from smiling, talking about, oh yeah, I don't know how they get there, to the most furious looking face ever. I knew something was bad. I thought something was going to fall off the shelf and hit me. So you're saying that I should...
Yeah, we're going to have to wrap this up. I got to get out of here. I can't be in this room.
That spider?
With this spider.
That thing is tiny. That's the size of a mosquito.
Are
you seriously afraid of that thing?
I can't stand spiders. Anything with more legs than me, I'm not a huge fan.
Wait a minute. We have two dogs.
More limbs.
We have two dogs.
Okay, limbs then.
Okay.
Not legs. Limbs. He's got more limbs.
Do you want to come back here?
I don't like it at all.
All right.
Let's wrap this up.
Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Somebody's calling to tell us how to get rid of that spider. Good luck. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.